Welcome back, folks. Now I have something really exciting for you guys. I have something called an LDR sensor. I don't know if you guys already know what an LDR sensor is, but it's a light dependent resistor. So what it really does is it detects how much light is coming from the environment, and it basically converts that into resistance. So it's really cool because now you can start really getting started with using sensors to be able to interact with your environment. This is probably the first sensor that you guys are getting introduced to, and if you get how to use this, you can use practically any sensor because the concept is the same. And interestingly, the concept is a lot similar to that of a button. Let's have a look. Back to the circuit designer. Now on the circuit designer, this is the circuit that I have right here in front of me. We have the Arduino Nano. There is an LDR sensor. The LDR sensor is once again hooked up to the 5 volts, and the other side is hooked up to via a 220 ohms resistor which you have in your kit to ground. And at that point, I also have another junction cable going to point number A0. A0 is an analog input port, and it allows us to be able to detect what is the input being received between 0 and 1023. So it has a long range of values that allows us to get that input in. However, it's not really analog. At the end of the day, Arduino is a piece of digital device. So no matter how much more detail you can get, it still has 1023 steps of data that it will give you in. It's not technically analog, but it's much better than digital because you have such a vast variety of points that you can get in that small data point between 0 and 1. You can get 1023 values between 0 and 1. That is between on and off. You have such a long range of values. So which is really exciting for us because now is when we can really start exploring the different states of the environment. So in this case, the state of light being between 0, which is completely dark, all the way to 1023, which is all the way bright. So you have so much of a data to play with in the middle, so many steps to play with, so you can really have some fun and get so much data from there. Okay, getting back. So now once you have this basic circuit in order, which is very similar to that of a button, as you guys remember, I think you guys can practically see that over here. Let's hop in to the Arduino IDE and check out the code. Now in this code, again, very similar to that of a button, you have the first thing that I'm going to do is define LDR pin is equal to A0. So A0, which is this one right here, that one, I've defined that to be the LDR pin. This is where the LDR is connected. This is where I'm going to get my input from eventually. And then after that, I have set the LDR integer LDR value, so that's just the name of the integer over there or a variable that I'm defining to be 0. In this one, I'm cutting to the variable LDR value is equal to 0. So I'm just defining the LDR value variable to be 0. So whatever it comes, whatever that value is, it's going to keep changing. Next up, we're going to set up the void setup over here once again. Because this is an input, not an output, I'm going to be taking the start, I'm going to ask Arduino IDE to start the serial monitor and at the same time get the serial communication from the Arduino Nano. Once again, the baud rate over here is 9600. That's basically the rate at which your Arduino microcontroller is talking to the computer. So that is 9600 times per second. It's talking to the computer. Can you imagine how much data there is? Once again, it's getting so much information at milliseconds precision, which is amazing because that allows us to really have very short delay in terms of what is happening over here and how much light this guy is detecting to the output that we can get from it. Next up, we set up the void loop. Once again, similar to that of a button. LDR value is equal to analog read. Now over here, check this out. It's called analog read because this is a analog pin and LDR pin. LDR pin is the name that we defined A0 to be. So whatever data is getting on A0, it's going to read that over here. Serial print LDR value. So over here, we're asking it to print the LDR value once again. And as you can see, it's already printing in the serial monitor. And then I'm saying LDR print ln, the LDR value. So this one over here, I can actually change that right now. For example, at the bottom, you can see in the serial monitor, it says LDR value 23, 24, 25. That's the ambient value. If I want to change this to just LDR, that's totally valid. It doesn't really matter. And when I do this, you will see all that it does is it just changes the text. Now it's going to start saying LDR is equal to 24 instead of LDR value is equal to 24. And you can play around with it. You can call it whatever you want. And then in the next line or in front of it, it's saying serial print ln LDR value. Now this is the value that it's getting from A0. And that's what we defined up here when we were setting up the variables. Finally, there is a delay of 500 milliseconds. Now, why do we want that delay? Once again, the data that this thing is getting is so fast, 9600 times per second is like a lot of data, and it won't really be able to register so much data. So for us, it's going to be changing really, really fast. So for example, I change this delay to just 1. And then if I do this, what you will see over here is that it's going to be getting constantly so much data that it'll be so hard to even keep track. Look at that. Look at the way the numbers are changing. It's crazy. I put my finger on top of it, it's gone to 0 so fast. It's like instantaneous. We don't need so much data. So hence, to be able to make this data a little bit more readable and at the same time a little bit more adjusting to our humans' brain, which is a little slower than that of a computer, we keep it to about a delay of 500 milliseconds. So every 500 milliseconds, it's going to be collecting a piece of data. That gives us a reasonable amount of time to be able to actually read the numbers. Next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to turn on the torch. Now the reason why I'm turning on the torch is I'm going to slowly bring this closer and closer to the LDR. And I'm going to almost practically touch it. Can you guys see already what's happening to these numbers? Check it out. It's gone from 19, 20, which was ambient light. And as this is getting closer and closer, we're almost reaching about 700 as values that is coming from the LDR. So what's really happening is that the way that the LDR works is the more light you give it, the resistance actually goes lower and lower and lower. And the lesser light there is in the room, the resistance is higher and higher and higher. So this value basically helps us figure out how much resistance is this guy actually getting. So in this case, the more light I'm providing, the resistance is becoming lower. This value is telling me how much current is also passing through this system. Next up, once I've figured out that, that's basically this circuit. And I want you guys to build this circuit. I want you guys to play around with this code once again, mess around with it a little bit, try to change some of these values and see what happens. But most importantly, here is your next task. I want you to add an LED to it. And you can do this by yourself very easily. And if you can't, then you know what to do. Just schedule a call with a mentor or reach out to us on Discord. Put an LED over here, connect this circuit, and you should be able to figure this out by now, so that while you're getting this data over here, it's also increasing and decreasing how bright this LED is getting. Straightforward. You can do two things over there. You can actually do it in a manner that more the light the LDR gets, the brighter your LED grows. That's kind of counterintuitive, so you want to flip that around. The lesser the light or the darker the environment is, the brighter your LED glows. Now that's a great example of a night lamp. So you can actually build a simple light lamp for yourself. The moment you turn off the light in your rooms, the LED will start glowing. Check this out. Go one step beyond. And in the last couple of videos, we played with a simple RGB LED. Now try this. The moment you turn off the lights in your bedroom, use the LDR sensor to create a mood lamp for you and have a color changing effect inside your room. Try that project out. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, you'll have something really cool to talk about to your friends next time they come over. Awesome. Good luck. Try it out, and I'll see you in the next video.